Ruth Elliott-Hilsdon here. Last week when we were talking about the problems that we have with communication, like sometimes the spouse is unresponsive, or sometimes they just don't, they cut us off. You know, they'll be grumpy, or they give us the feeling that they don't want to hear what we have to say. And that's not always fun. Okay, well, one of the things that I wanted to explain when we were talking about the difference between men and women and the difference between brains, a lot of people have a tendency to hang out in one side of their brain or the other. And a lot of times the guys, you're just like, come on, let's just concentrate on this one thing. So they're not always as emotionally present as we are. And we're always emotionally present, at least most of the time. Most of us are. And that's what's painful about when in our interaction, if they're not emotionally present, then we can get our feelings hurt thinking that they're being, grumpy or whatever, but they're just not in their emotional place. Look at the whole guy, okay? This is one of the things that I have learned over my many years of getting my feelings hurt. And what I do is I just remember the overarching truth of, is the guy a nice guy? Is he taking care of trying to do the right thing? Now, if he's turning around and calling you a bitch or saying rude things, well, that is not acceptable. But if the guy is generally speaking a nice guy and not trying to hurt anybody, then you have to look deeper and say, is he actually being a thoughtful person who, generally speaking, cares about the world? Does he care about you? Is he taking care of you? What is the main focus of his life? Why did you marry him in the first place? And as long as he's not being hurtful or abusive, then can you stand it? Can you stand the feeling of being ignored emotionally while they are preoccupied with their work, whatever it is? If they're in their one little box in their brain, working on something, thinking about trying to solve a certain problem, and you come in, you interrupt them, and they're trying to be focused, and you're going, oh, the kids need this, and not enough, and oh, by the way, let's do the thing, and I think some guys would just like wish that their ladies would just stop thinking. If only she would just stop thinking for a while, and then I could concentrate on what I'm thinking about. Okay, so that's one of the problems of having an overactive brain like I do. But anyway, but the main thing is, do they love you? And do you feel affection for them? If they basically love you and they're trying to do the right thing, then it's a certain amount of like give and take where you respect their space, and then they say, is now a good time to talk? I noticed you were not, earlier you seemed a little grumpy when I mentioned the such and such thing. So I wondered, is this a good time now to talk about it? And just be persistent and gentle, because you can get through. Now, if they say, no, I don't want to ever talk about it again, well, then you got some real problems there. Some people really do have emotional problems, and it's my way or the highway. And if you got one of those guys, then well, it's very difficult, because and that's an individual problem that we need to discuss personally if that's one of the problems that you have. Because I want to focus on what's challenging to you and the things that you are dealing with. So let me know. But and unless I hear from you, then next week, what we're going to focus on is personalities. Each one of us has a special personality, and our personalities will interact with other people. And the good thing about understanding about different personalities is that if you know where you fit in say a scope of different personalities, then you know, and if you know what other people's personalities are, then you won't expect them to be like you or you to be like them. Because that's one of the hardest things in the world, is when you marry somebody, you fall in love with them, and they think, oh, they love me and I love them and blah blah blah, and then you find out these different parts about them that are different than you, and you have to either understand them and deal with it, or you're going to be extremely disappointed if you expect that they will change into you. Because that's the biggest problem with most relationships, is that other people somehow think that they can make the other person like them. And that's not going to work. So anyway, well, I love you all, and I want you to have a good week, and I wish you all the best. And we will be going forth and conquering our problems. I want you to know that my heart is with you all week, and we will just do our best to keep in touch, okay? Okay? All right.